if you have 30 minutes between two training sessions, this is how you should optimize for the best recovery, best performance, and best fueling. So imagine that you have like training from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. It could be less, whatever. This is just a template. So something what is important here is fueling during training. Usually I would recommend fueling during training if it's like 2 hours plus. Well, here it is 2 hours, but it can be 1.5 hours, it could be 1 hour. Because you have your next training in like whatever 20, 30, 40 minutes. So it's important to have fuel during training. So what does that mean? Basically have carbs. In like it's like a sports drink, you can just add to clear water just plain sugar, or the best thing that I would recommend is maltodextrin. It's something that you put into your drink and it's just good to have like fueling during training. And you can have, of course, like electrolytes. That's really important, and just drink water throughout the whole thing, of course, like so fueling during training, it's important. So how should you use the time between the two training sessions? It's the time that's around like 30 minutes. It can be like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. How should you use that? Well, of course you shouldn't like just do nothing. Like yes, you should do nothing, you should chill, but you should have something in your hand to eat. In those 30 minutes you need to focus on fueling. There is something called a GI, glycogen index. Glycogen index is a number that is put to foods with carbs, and that basically means how fast will it get into your bloodstream. And yeah, if you guessed, then yes, you need foods that have a high GI. A high GI means it will get into the bloodstream faster. A lower GI means it will get into the bloodstream slower. So foods that have like high GI, well, I recommend this to everyone. Just banana. Yeah, my writing skills. Sorry about that. Just a banana. But you can just go on Google that shit. What foods do have high GI? Go on ChatGPT and just do that shit basically. And what works for you? What affordable for you? What realistic for you to do it every single time? So yeah, just focus on fueling there and just chilling. And in your second workout, that's usually like gym. You have your main sport and then you have your gym. And sometimes you have your like main sport again. That could happen, but not as much. Usually, like if you have 2 times training in one day, you have like in the morning your sport, and then in like after school in the evening your sport. So what should you do here? Well, kind of the same thing that's like in the first session. Just focus on the during part. Fueling during training. The same thing basically. So this is what should you do. And why is fueling so important? So there is this thing called glycogen storage, or glycogen storages. So imagine that's basically your energy storages. Glycogen is carbs. But you eat carbs and carbs get turned into glycogen, and glycogen goes into your glycogen storages. So imagine at the beginning, at the start, you have 100% glycogen storages. Here, you're fueling during training, so that's nice. So you have like 60%. That's good. In the 30 minutes, you fuel again, so it goes to like 70 to like 75%. That's pretty good too. Here you fuel again, and it's, let's say, around like 50 to 40%. You have 50 or like 40% of your glycogen storages at the end. That's pretty good. That's obviously depends on like the intensity and everything else, but generally it should look like something. It should look something like this. Yeah, but now let's look at it. How will it look if you don't fuel? Well, if it's 100% and you train like 2 hours, then it will be like 40 to like 30%. You don't fuel anything here, then it will be like the, let's say, like the 40%, and here it will get 10% or lower. And if your glycogen storages are that low, the chances you getting sick are a lot higher, because your immunity will gets weakened because of that, because of bad fueling. The amount of times that happened to me, like I rarely had like 30 minutes in between training sessions, but I had like an hour or like an hour and a half. And you know what did I do in that hour and a half? Well, everything but not fueling. And if I did some fueling, I bought like one slice of pizza, on the street. And it basically did nothing, I needed a lot more. If I trained, I swam 2 hours and then had like 1.5 hours and then swam again 2 hours. You really need more than just a slice of pizza, you know. So the amount of times that I got sick because of this, and how do you know if your fueling is bad or right? Well, how do you feel after training? You should feel like, yeah, you're tired, but you shouldn't feel completely dead. A lot of times I even like felt like sick after training, and that's just not good. If you didn't if implement like fueling like this, and you do, it will completely transform everything. That this may be the reason why you will succeed in sports. Because you just improve your recovery, fueling, better performance, more focus. The benefits go there are a lot of benefits with this. So there is one bonus I want to give you is fueling after training. Basically this part. So there is this thing called an anabolic window. After training, you have an anabolic window where the enzymes and the hormones that take nutrients into the muscles are just extra active. That's a beautiful thing that we have, a beautiful function that our body has. And not using it, it's like what you're doing, man. Like every pro athlete uses the anabolic window. Every successful one. So you should do it too. And a lot of times it's not like, yeah, I'm not that serious, I don't need this like fueling, or like I don't need to use my anabolic window. Well, it's a lot of times it's not about being serious or not. It's basically you doing it right or you doing it wrong. That's the only thing. So the anabolic window should be used like this. How I use it? I'm a swimmer, so I have my 3-to-1 carb ratio. So I need to eat something in this time that has three carbs and one protein, like 3 cups per 1 gram of protein, like that. And like, how long does it take? How long is the like anabolic window? When they say like 1.5 hours and stuff, but really the faster the better. Like a lot of times I get my 3-to-1 ratio in like 5 minutes of me coming out of the pool. So that's something important. It's like, yeah, like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, but the faster the better. So yeah, just focus on that. And for your sport it might be different. Or just again go research that. Just go and ask ChatGPT. This is my sport. I'm a footballer and stuff. My workouts are like this. How much protein to carb ratio should I take? And that's it. So this is everything I wanted to teach today, share with you today. If you like this, I have a community focused just on recovery, everything about recovery. So yeah, nutrition, sleep, cold exposure, hot exposure, anything that you can think of basically. So, but I'm focusing mainly on like nutrition and sleep because having the right amount of the right nutrition and the right sleep is basically 90% of the recovery. Everything else is kind of, yeah, it helps when you know what you're doing, but a lot of times it's just noise. So, yeah, have a nice rest of your day. Goodbye.